Alright everyone, this is episode number 98 today for the Italian Grand Prix. If you missed the previous episode at Spa, I recommend you go and check that one out. Before seeing this one, as spoiler alert, our main championship rivals, Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. Norris retired, Leclerc had a spinala and finished out the points. Verstappen won that race, so it's a 1 point lead to Verstappen, 3 points to Norris and 7 points to Leclerc. Very tight, as we need to look to try and build on that lead at Monza. R&D, Aston Martin are levelled off. Whether or not they've got more to come, we'll have to wait and see. But there's still, you can fit the entire grid space between them and AlphaTauri still. But anyway, moving to qualifying, and Monza's a good track for me. On F1 22, personally speaking, it's always a Templar's Speed has always been a good track for me historically as well, which is somehow, we're sat in P1 on provisional pole position. It's very rare I get pole position. I think I've only taken 2 poles this entire career mode, or 2 or 3 poles I think it is, but basically it's been a poor turn 1, but we have managed to get better on the exit turn 2 up to the end of sector 1 with slightly faster than our previous best time, as well, half a tenth up through this horrible corner. Hopefully the curves are there better on F1 23. It's now up to Lesbos corners as well. Try not to take too much curve there, otherwise you will lose time. A bit wide there and a bit on the grass there. We lose a bit of time on the exit of Lesbos 2. Now is losing a bit of time there. Verstappen's gone faster with we have managed to set a purple middle sector though, as we're now half a tenth up, wringing the neck out of the car through Ascari. Now it's just about, can I get the drive down to Parabolica as well. Nice drive through there, gaining time there. We're a tenth and a bit up. Will that be enough? Losing time on the exit of Parabolica though, up to the line. Will this enough for pole? No, it won't. It's the front row though. It is P2, which isn't too bad. The top 10 separated by 3.5 tenths. That is really close. George Russell up there as well for Aston Martin, showing improved pace in the road. The car's a dustbin. Felipe Drugovich, well, I mean, he needs to be replaced surely. Magnussen getting a penalty again. I'm not sure for what, but anyway, we'll have to see what we can do from front row. Time for the race.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we could expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of them coming in the form of chicanes, and with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Phoenix completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Sebastian Vettel and Russell, Sainz, Tsunoda, Hamilton and Lando Norris, Drugovich, Gasly, Alex Albon and Stroll, Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Nicholas Latifi and Robert Schwartzman. Joe and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Phoenix. That was a great podium in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
I think that'll definitely be the aim. Would definitely be aiming for victory ahead of Max Verstappen as well, which would be the lead of the championship by a margin. This is a race that could be crucial if we want to get a 4th straight world championship. And I'm trying to match Juan Manuel Fangio's record of the most world championships with different teams, which he managed 5 championships with 4 different teams. So that is the aim for this remainder of the season. There's vibrant lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and away we go on our favourite medium soft strategy as well. But it's been a poor start, and Leclerc is in front. We have hold off Piastri there. We're going to go around the outside of Leclerc, turning the inside of turn 2, and Leclerc gives us the space and back up to P2. As we're watching on board, George Russell, he's had a good start down the inside of Piastri. He squeezed past Piastri to that cursed curb on the inside there, and is able to get the better traction, and is up to P4. It's a very good start there. That is Hamilton having a battle with Vettel and Norris. Norris taking the cursed curb there. Hamilton comes out on top as again Piastri having a go at Russell. Can't do it though, because of course he squeezed that inside, taking the cursed curb, which ruins your traction out of turn 2. The AI always fail to get there, as you can see there. Another example of it is Gasly is in front of the Alpine there, I think of Albon. And finally, Piastri is past Russell. He should have been passed a long time ago, but Piastri finally clears Russell. Can he catch up to us? Meanwhile, back to our POV, lap 4, we've finally caught up back up to Verstappen, and now we're just going to breeze past. We've got a new fast lap of the Grand Prix, and the speed, it's not as fast as the Porsche, only 223 mile an hour, so there's definitely a pace difference I'm finding between the Mercedes power and the Porsche power engine, but it's still enough to blast past the Ford powered Red Bull, which definitely doesn't have enough speed. But Verstappen isn't going to give up there. He knows this could be his chance of getting a 2nd world championship, having not won any in this career mode at all. As well, Leclerc also hovering about. He wants to become a triple world champion as well. So we'll have to wait and see if we get Verstappen has to go around the outside of Parabolica. Nothing doing with him there. We get the better traction. I think Verstappen is going to come into the pits. Indeed he does. He swipes across. Luckily he didn't do that while we were side by side, as we're going to come in on the following lap of lap number 7. Hopefully Verstappen has not got the undercut. If he has, it's not the end of the world, because we'll have a tyre advantage. This is the advantage of doing this strategy, is you have a tyre advantage in the second half of the race. A little bit of unsafe release into the Williams there of Piastri, but nevertheless it's a 2.3 second stop, which is about average for this game. And there is Verstappen, and he's going to blast past into P2. Tsunoda technically leads, but Tsunoda are yet to stop. Can we get though Verstappen back with EBRS and DRS? It's the same move that we pulled earlier. Pull to the left hand side, and it's a comfortable move back up into what is effectively the race lead once Tsunoda makes his stop. As behind, Russell hasn't had a great stop. He's fallen behind Sainz, and Hamilton's now having a go at him. But what is Hamilton doing there? Tsunoda comes out the pits on hard tyres, don't know why. Hamilton has instead of being able to making the overtake on Russell there, taking an obscure line to try and get Tsunoda as well. I've seen them do that before successfully, but Hamilton ran out of room there and is behind. And now Tsunoda's a sitting duck really for Sebastian Vettel, who has fallen behind Hamilton in the end. And Tsunoda, the hard tyres, isn't the choice that he needed. Meanwhile for us, back to lap 13. This is the final lap of the race. Verstappen though, my tyres are starting to go off, and Verstappen has been reeling me in, and we had a go there but unable to get past. Can he get round Parabolica though? Closing in a little bit? No, we've got a good exit out of Parabolica up to the line. Verstappen's closing, but not close enough, and we come through to win the Italian Grand Prix for Mercedes, which is crucial because that also gives us a commanding lead over our main rival in the World Championship as Esteban Ocon is driver of the day.
There it is then, victory in the Italian Grand Prix, a historic race and an achievement they can be immensely proud of. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today? So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Oh yes, it's always nice to be on the top step. Not for Ferrari, I'm sure the locals would have preferred Ferrari, but they have not performed lately in this career mode. We'll have to see if we can rejuvenate them on F123. But yes, for us, and our bid to become a fourth world champion and match Fangio's record, that, you know, for me, I don't think I've seen any creator win 4 career modes in a row. Let me know if you know somebody who has in the comments below. But that is basically the target. That will be the target for the remainder of the season then, as you know, Leclerc would be slightly disappointed, couldn't take advantage. He came home in P3, but Norris, disastrous, P10. His teammate didn't even let him pass in the end to help him out, and Norris drops 28 points behind myself. We got a healthy 9-point lead, but you know, anything can happen in Formula 1. Of course, it usually does. Russell making it up into the top 14 then, as Aston Martin start to improve. Vettel jumping Albon and Leclerc jumping Norris. As well, the other changes. In terms of constructors, we're still in P3 because Felipe Drugovich didn't score, so you know, one hand time per time. If we had a competitive teammate in this car, like a Lando Norris, even an Oscar Piastri, you know, that's where we've won in the past, is when we've had a good teammate alongside. Unfortunately, Felipe Drugovich does not do well on starts. Tictum didn't really qualify that highly and just got stuck in the races, so both of them have really failed. And 4 races to go, well, I can safely say we're not going to be adding to our 2 Constructors' Championships, but the drivers though is still on. Next up is Mexico. That episode will be out tomorrow, so yes, if you have enjoyed though, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. See plenty more F122 and F123 drive comment videos. Until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.